Hey everybody, Austin here. Just wanted to go ahead and show you my tarp that I used on my last backpacking trip out to the Smokies. This is the Easthills Outdoors Dragonfly. So full disclosure, Easthills Outdoors reached out to me last fall and asked if I would be interested in doing an Amazon review of this. I happen to be in the market for a tarp anyway, and was looking. I'm not quite ready to spend, $300+ on a DCF tarp, probably in the future, but just not yet. And so I was looking for something that's a little more budget friendly, so that I can use my new war bonnet hammock that I just got. So I checked it out on Amazon just to see what it was and if it was something I actually would want. And I said, why not? So they hooked me up with the tarp, and I got it out, and at the time didn't have a chance to really take it out on a trip. So I went out to a local state park, set it up, just to kind of get the lay of the land and see what it was like. And from from my first impressions, it seemed like a pretty decent product, especially retails for about $70 on Amazon. This is the flat cut. They also have a different cut called the hex cut. Obviously it's gonna be a little smaller, and then it's about 8 ounces lighter than this tarp. So I took the tarp out on my trip with my brother out to Great Smoky Mountain National Park, and finally got to put it through its paces. Fortunately, unfortunately, it didn't rain, so I actually haven't spent a night in the rain under this tarp yet. But to be completely honest, I was not crazy about it to start out with. Granted, the first time that I actually set it up on a legitimate trip was in the dark, but there were a few things that were a little frustrating setting it up, and so I even kind of complained to my brother on the trip about things that I didn't like about it, and I got back from the trip and I want to like this tarp, and so I thought about the things that I wasn't crazy about and try to figure out, okay, how can I fix this? So before I get into the pros and cons, I'll just show you what we got. The tarp is advertised by Easthills Outdoors as 12 by 9. I measured it myself, and not picking hairs, but I measured 11 feet 9 inches, and then it stretches out on either side 4 feet 9 inches. So just a little bit wider and just a little bit shorter than advertised, but still close enough, good enough for government work. So the tarp, it comes with 8 stakes. It comes with 2 extra sets of line, this lightweight line that they have, and then each of the 8 tie-out points on the side have a stretch of line, and then obviously the 2 lines for either side of the ridge line. So if you're looking for a kit all in one place, this has got a good setup. So it's got everything you need to set it up right out of the bag. So all of that together, I weighed it at 26 ounces. They measured, or Easthills advertised it as 25, so I'm willing to give them that. But so relatively lightweight for what you're getting. That's a really decent sized tarp. Right now I've got it set up with kind of the hammock setup, so it's got doors, but you can also bring these out to the side and make it more of a traditional shelter style tarp. So you have 8 tie-out points for that. So they got 8 stakes. Each of those stakes, they're aluminum, weigh 8 grams each, and comes in 2 colors. This is obviously green, and then they also have a blue as well. On the website, I was a little hesitant about the colors because everybody's got their preferences, but I generally like to have natural colors or neutral colors, nothing that's going to just advertise my presence out in the woods. So I didn't want something, the green that they had was a little bright, at least in the pictures. But I was very happy when it got in the mail. It's definitely a much darker green, and seems to work out pretty well while I'm out in the woods. So we'll talk about the cons, the things that I'm not crazy about on this tarp first, and then I'll talk about the things that I do like. So the thing that caused me a lot of frustration out on the trip was the line here. It's just a lightweight string. Don't ask me what the tensile strength is, but it's a pro and a con in that it's lightweight, it's small, so it doesn't take up a lot of weight. However, especially when your fingers are cold and it's dark, it can be a little hard to manipulate. So the tying knots and making sure that it's secure in the dark can be challenging. And so kind of the secondary thing I didn't like about that con was that it could be difficult to set up quickly, depending on how good you are with knots. And so what I came up with are these clips. And essentially, I bought a set of 10 of these on Amazon, and I'll put the link down below in case you're really interested. They are metal, just a small clip, and then just tied a bowline on the end of each tie out. And that made it 10 times easier to set up. So there's no knot tying. It's literally just clipping, finding 2 trees and clipping it up, and it's good to go. The other thing that I wasn't crazy about, and this part just takes a little more finesse, are these line locks. So again, these line locks are going to be a pro and a con, because they're good because it makes cinching up everything and getting everything the way you want it a lot easier. The downside is that they are very finicky, and they can release their tension pretty easily. If you go back up onto the website on Amazon for this product, you actually see that a few people talk about it, and that they didn't like it and they actually returned it. I have found that again, you just have to be aware of it. So if you can see right now, this is kind of at an angle. This tension line is pulling up, and so as long as you're pulling up, it's not going to give away, no matter how hard you pull. But as second you just lift up on here, it's gonna let out, and it doesn't take much. But just cinch it up, nice and tight, and that thing's not going anywhere. So like I said, I put those clips on each of the tie out points, and then it also makes tying up your doors when it's time to go to bed a lot easier, because all you got to do is grab the clip and then just clip it right on there, and then just cinch it up, and it's good to go. The other thing, like I said, I mentioned that I haven't done yet is have this out in the rain. So Easthill Outdoors says that the seams are sealed, so I will probably still end up sealing them myself. I'd rather not find out the hard way that they're not sealed, so I will seam seal the ridgeline myself. Most of the time I'm probably going to use this as a hammock setup, or as part of my hammock setup. And so with the doors closed, I measured from the inside of both doors, and that's about 7 feet between the 2 sets of doors. So that's plenty of room. You can see there's still a little bit of a gap right in here. I guess that might be getting a little picky at that point, but still get some good coverage. So those are my initial impressions of the Easthill Outdoors Dragonfly Tarp. I think it's a great setup, especially just kind of a one-stop shop. Gives you all the accessories that you need to set it up on a trip, and still a pretty good weight to cost ratio. So I'm always in the market for good gear. Doesn't have to be brand name, doesn't have to be expensive. I look forward to using it again on some of my trips in the future. So that's all I've got. I hope you enjoyed the video, got something out of it. Let me know if you've got any questions. I'll put a link down in the description for everything that you've seen so far. And thanks for watching, and I'll see you out there. Are these, come on, there you go. The ridge line, I measured it at 11 feet.